there. I'll watch Zoom link. Big brother. Thank you. It's like submit and let's join it. Okay. All right. So we are live streaming. Hello, everybody. So it is September 17th at 4:17 p.m. and I am Emily Flynn. I'm the Director of Health and Wellness for the City of Kingston. I'm gonna allow you to share her questions. I'm gonna lead us around to introduce ourselves since we have a few new faces today. Feel free, if you're part of an organization or if there's a part of Live Well that you are excited about or connected with, feel free to mention that. But let's keep it to roughly a minute. So just, but if there's some kind of context you'd like to add, please feel free. I'll add my context, which is so I coordinate the Live Well Kingston Commission. My colleague, Kristen, who's not going to be able to make it tonight, she coordinates our Creating Healthy Schools and Communities grant, which I can talk about another time for anybody. So Kyle, I'll go to you next. We'll go over this way.
Okay, great. Hi everyone, my name is Kyle Muther. I am a commissioner on Live Well Kingston. I am a strategy consultant and I work with the Gates Foundation on global health strategy in my day job. But yeah, I've been with the commission now for a year. So I've been enjoying kind of seeing where I can contribute and look forward to kind of revisiting that. I think that's going to be one of the focuses of today. Is kind of thinking about can we each contribute the most we can contribute. So thank you.
Okay, hi, Christine Bergeron. I have Peace Love Vintage in the Rondout and Decades. I'm partners with somebody that has, she and I are partners at Decades, vintage clothing on both sides. And I've been here, lived here 5 years, and I really want to get more involved in the community and just learn more about this Live Well Kingston and help in any way I can.
Thank you for coming. Very well to have you.
My name is Arlene Fuentes, and I'm an old hand here. I've been here about a month. My area of expertise is buildings and building systems and homes. I am here to do whatever I can to try to make the world a better place. Small efforts. Thank you.
Hey everybody. Everybody, Sam Nicrason. I live right up the street on Andrew Street. I moved there about a year ago. And I've been just super impressed with Kingston in general, the civic engagement here. Live Well caught my eye. They had a really good poster of a beet. So whoever made that poster for our local vegetables, doing great. I like spreadsheets, so, I'm not afraid of that. And I ride my bike around town. So also, yeah, got a vested interest in that. Super excited to be here and learn from all of you and hopefully make an impact.
Sam.
I'm Anthony Fitzpatrick. I am a Live Well commissioner. Yeah.
Love having you here, Anthony. So I'm going to go to the folks on the screen. If you're first in my top left corner, if you're able, would you like to unmute and say hi?
Hi.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Emma. I just moved here a few months ago and a friend mentioned this and I'm just excited to learn more. I work as a writer and documentary filmmaker and I'm just looking for ways to get involved in the community. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. Love that you're here. Jillian, are you able to say hi?
Yeah, hi. I'm sorry, I'm in New York City walking right now, so apologies. My schedule got a little screwed up today, but anyway, I'm happy to participate as much as I can. And I live on Westchester Street. I've been in Kingston for about 5 years, in this house for 3 years, and I'm on a Democratic committee. I work as a fragrance and personal care product developer, and I have a nutrition master's, and I'm really interested in wellness and That's why I'm interested in this commission, and was also looking to get more involved in the community. So happy to be here.
Well, thank you, Jillian. We appreciate you trying to call in from afar. Appreciate it. All right. Katrina, if you're available, do you want to say hi?
For sure. Hi, I'm sorry I wasn't able to peel myself away from my desk. But hi, I'm Katrina Williams. I am the Deputy Commissioner of the Ulster County Department of Mental Health. I use she, her, they, them pronouns, and I am a Live Well Commissioner.
Thank you so much. All right. I'm definitely seeing some themes today about wanting to get involved in the community. So I hope that you guys find this is the place for that, because I'm a little biased. I think we're a great board and doing some great work, but also always happy to connect you with other work that the city and other community partners are doing.
Just so you know, I'm not on text. I write everything on color notes. I just wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't use pen and paper anymore. I try not to. So I just.
We'll bring kids.
Oh, okay.
Eat.
I just figured, let me just tell everybody I'm not texting. I'm just writing notes.
All good. All good. So we have a.
One thing I mentioned, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that I am still playing the role of secretary. Okay, sorry. So I take notes.
Oh, okay.
I guess also somewhere I'm not just like.
So we, I'd like to know, do we have a president or a chair? We have a secretary.
Yeah.
And what do we have? Could you explain it to me?
Sure. Jumping right in. I think I love it. So we have a chair, Katrina Light. Katrina Williams is our vice chair.
Okay.
Kyle is our secretary. Do we have we in our bylaws, we have the role of treasurer. I do not if we have.
Is Katrina Light still, is she staying in Kingston?
This is a great question. So on my agenda, I've got it. So Katrina Light is stepping down as chair. I don't know if you all remember, she was job searching. She got a job in Maine, working in farm and food systems, which is her passion. Just moved to Maine last week. So she was going to try to support us for as long as she could. But yeah, so Katrina Light has stepped down as chair. I haven't had a chance to talk to Katrina Williams. She's vice chair. I'm hoping she might be able to step in for the next 3 months until January when we do our elections again for the positions. Does that answer you?
Yes, thank you.
I'm happy to do that until the end of the year.
That was you could do that? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Mostly that entails when we do letters of support, the way that we have that process is that if if anyone is asked for Live Well Kingston to write a letter of support, bring it to me or the chair. And the way we do it is if the chair and the staff liaison agree that it's something within the Live Well values, then we write the letter of support. And a new addition is, you'll see on the agenda, we are now listing all of the letters of support that have been sent so that you can.
In this month or this year?
This month.
Okay.
So you all know we haven't met for 2 months. And this is like grant season. So there are months that will go by and we have none. This is very dramatic looking. It's not usually like this.
And this in blue, it looks like they are
Lookable.
yes, but where do we see this online?
Yes, so we have a Google folder. I'm happy to share that.
I'm sorry, I'm going off the agenda.
I mean, I think this is probably great information for
Okay.
everybody who's here today. It's a good refresher for all of us.
Okay.
So I have a Google folder. I have shared it with our current commissioners. As people come in, I will share it with them. Some people I don't think have any interest in the Google folder. So I sort of try to read whether or not people are interested in that.
Am I here?
I'll confirm and I'll find out. Or I'd love to share it with you.
And so I got a little confused with somebody was like, you were talking about a calendar when you were trying to get this meeting, and I didn't understand where that calendar lives.
Okay, let me see if I can explain what was happening. So I tried to change the date of this meeting. I'm still wearing it. I just came from a conference that's at the Best Western.
Yeah.
Our department has a second grant called Creating Healthy Schools and Communities. It's a cohort of grantees. They're all in town meeting today. So I tried to move it so that I could be more fully present for them. But we didn't meet for 2 months. And we've got some things strategically that I think is really time sensitive that we should talk about. So I felt like it was really important to meet. So when I heard that everyone couldn't meet at the time, I moved it back.
No, that's what I.
Sorry, I know I'm giving you more context than you asked, but so I live my life in Outlook and I send out calendar invites.
Oh, so I have to somehow get into Outlook and then talk to it and tell it to talk to you?
You shouldn't have to. If you don't use a calendar, you can disregard that, and I think it should just come in and look like an email when you receive it.
I don't think I did get an email that looked like a calendar.
Why don't we maybe after a meeting sometime, or we can meet for coffee again, and maybe we can look at how it's coming.
It's your turn to get.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. What else do I want to say about that? Also Outlook is driving me crazy. It's adding like meeting, whatever the Microsoft meeting software is to it without me asking it to. So there are quirks having a system that I swear that I'm more organized than what it appears sometimes. That's my disclaimer. Your disclaimer about taking notes on your phone. My disclaimer is it's not me, it's Outlook, I swear. Okay. Did I answer your calendar question?
Well, yeah, I have to work something out. I have to think of something, how to do it. I have to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, I hope that everything I do is trying to help organize us. So if it is not helpful to you, feel free to disregard.
Well, I just didn't understand where it was or what it was.
Okay.
So, because I got an email saying everybody wasn't able to meet, and I didn't understand that there was someone was trying to change the meeting.
Yeah.
So that's where I got confused, because I didn't understand what that was.
Yeah. My apologies for all that. Let's see if we can figure out what's happening there and how it can be.
Sure, then we can work it out, yeah.
You have a Gmail account?
I do. Do I have an email account?
A Gmail account?
A Gmail, I do.
Okay. So it will go on your Gmail account. There will be a calendar invite to your Gmail account.
But usually,
Whatever email you have is calendar.
I just forward my email to my Google, to my Gmail, sorry. I don't get all the technical stuff, but so then maybe I should give you my Gmail account? Is that it? Do you think?
Well, we'll
talk about it.
We'll chat. We'll figure out.
Okay.
Connection issue. Okay. So I feel like we're covering a lot, and I'm sorry for talking quickly here. Let me just do it. So on our agenda for commissioners that are here today, if we have a quorum, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need 4 of you. Yes, we have a quorum. Great. So first up on the agenda, I've got approval of 2 meeting notes from our past meetings. Then I'm just going to mention the letters of support. I already mentioned Katrina stepping down. I'll mention the commission applications. And then the meat of our meeting is going to be talking about some strategic reflections. So we'll do that in a little bit. There's a section here for announcements and communications. After all that, commissioners will go into executive session, which means we'll thank the people that have come here today and we'll invite them to depart. And then the commissioners will have a conversation about us. We make suggestions to the mayor for appointment. Mayor ultimately makes the decision. He's never not accepted our suggestion, by the way. And then if you get approved, you'll get a letter pointing you to the commission if you've applied. Okay, so that's a rundown of what we're about to cover today. Anything anybody wants to add to that? Anything urgent, or it doesn't have to be urgent? Anything that we should cover today? All right, hearing none, we always have great conversations, so things get added as we go along. So there are more opportunities as we go. Okay, so I'm going to bring us to the meeting notes. So we are doing May and June. Commissioners, do you have any edits or updates? Otherwise, I could hear a motion to accept one or both of the meeting minutes.
Go ahead.
I accept
So I'm hearing a motion.
both.
Yeah. Katrina, may I assume that you were about to make a motion to accept both meeting minutes?
Yes.
And I think I'm hearing from you, Kyle, a second. So commissioners, that means there's a vote on the table. So all in favor, you can say yes. Thumbs up.
Yes.
Katrina, did you give me a yes?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. Great. So both meeting minutes have passed. I love it when we're moving quickly. Okay. Next up, we'll see on the agenda, as I mentioned, a long list of letters of support. I may not be able to talk about all of these projects. Let's see, there's a one in there that that I would like to talk about, which is the clean mobility bike share. But maybe I'll just say, so as I mentioned, this is typical when the city applies for grants. They ask the different commissions for letter of support. We ask other organizations for letter of support. Usually it's just that. It's usually not a bigger commitment other than we think this project is a good idea for the city. Usually the ones that we get asked to do would have to do with social determinants of best resources or the best two things that make our. Any questions about these specific letters, the process? If we can, I'm going to talk a little bit about the clean mobility bike share specifically. That's my project. But any questions before I jump into that?
What is the brick thing?
Ooh, let's see. What is the brick? Brick
You have bricks.
Let's click on it.
Just just curious.
Oh, and I forgot to. Usually I share my screen to show the agenda. I forgot to do that, but I will share it now. Okay, what is the New York bricks? All right. Oh, this is for the Rondell Community Center. So we have a few community centers in town. This is the one down in the waterfront. They are applying for a grant to do some much needed, I'm going to call it infrastructure. So building improvements. If you all don't know, that community center just got renamed the Albert Brown Community Center. There's some articles in the Daily Freeman you can click on, but that was a community member that was sort of not recognized historically. And so it's really lovely that this person has now been, that community center has been renamed in his honor. Does that, any other questions about that? Great, so I'll mention the clean mobility. Some of you have already heard me talk about this. I'm trying to type in and talk at the same time, just really difficult. Okay. This is the ultimate goal. We're applying for a grant to do a bike share in the city of Kingston. So if you've used city bike or rented a bike in any other municipality, it's like that, but think much smaller. This would be 75 electric bikes, 25 pedal, with stations along Broadway connecting the waterfront to uptown. This is a second phase of the project. So the first phase, we got a grant from NYSERDA to do a planning project. We just finished the planning project. I haven't even posted it on this website yet. So you guys are the first ones to hear about it. So we just got it. We're going to post it here probably next week. And in that plan, it recommends this bike share system, and it plans out how we're going to implement it. Next Thursday, my grant for the second phase of this grant is due. So I'm in the thick of grant writing, and it is very difficult. And so we're asking for 1.3 million for 3 years for this bike share program. It'll be a low-cost system with multiple tiers. If you use any benefits, heat, SNAP, you'll get an even lower tier. There's a membership option, which would also reduce the cost. What else is very important to tell you about that? After 3 years, we would work on other forms of financial sustainability, but this would be a real true pilot project. We'll see if the community likes it. Maybe it is successful. Any questions? Yeah, you're probably got questions for us.
Well, I know that there's a commission or a board called Fleet Streets.
Yes.
Are they involved in that?
They are also writing a letter of support for this. So I
guess I'm just trying to figure out who's who and what's what in the city, in terms of who's doing what. So that sounded like a great name to me, Complete Streets. And I was at the mayor is having he's visiting people in every ward, and one person one person said, wish there were more sidewalks.
Yes.
And so apparently there was that one person who, and I who wished that there were more ways to walk through the city of Kingston. So this, bike share, from the roundout to the, to uptown, is that what we're talking about? And isn't there a point where the bike lanes stop in Kingston? Is that going to change? There's a point near.
So we have some bike lanes in the city of Kingston.
The Broadway one, right? Because you were talking about putting this on Broadway.
Yes, so stations, so I think of Broadway as the spine of Kingston. So they may be on Broadway, they may be a block or two off of Broadway, but we're using Broadway basically as the spine of the program. And down in the waterfront, like TR Gallup Park, so that's the bottom, and in Uptown, maybe as far as Forsyth Park, so that's technically off of Broadway. But I'm using that sort of as the geographic. Yes, the bike lane ends on Broadway. As of right now, there's no plans to extend that bike lane. But I will say, as a part of this project, we are going to do one infrastructure project. Right now, it looks like what we would do is on Westbrook Lane, which is from Clinton Ave to Hannaford, where the linear park comes out. But maybe not all the way into Hannaford, probably from the linear park, from the bike path to Clinton Ave, we would do a whole new sidewalk and bike lanes. That's the goal. Don't hold me to it. This wouldn't happen until 2027, and only if we got this grant. But so we're incorporating into this project an infrastructure improvement. And our thought about that was that then there'd be long lasting improvement even beyond, even if the bike share didn't.
Just make a comment. I was on a bike ride today. I think my longest, I think I see 12, I got an odometer, and I think I'm going 12 miles, and I was really happy. But I want to say how polite almost 99% of all the drivers I encountered in the city of Kingston are so polite, giving me right of way, just helping me out, giving me a high five, and making sure not to kill me. You know, I just want to say that. I'm tickled. Yeah.
That is unusual for me to hear. I usually hear the opposite. So it's lovely to hear that. Thank you, Arlie. Yes.
It's not so around the Rotary, that's a little treacherous. People all the time, not with bikes, but with cars.
Yeah.
Competing of the
traffic circle.
Yeah. That's a learning curve, isn't it? Changing a traffic circle. It's a
it
learning curve.
is.
Yeah.
So this 1.3 million would complete the pilot.
Yeah.
It wouldn't. So and then we have to get more. You have to get more funding to actually like sustain it. Or would part of this be like figuring out the business model for it, or like the funding model for the long term sustainability of such a mobility program?
Yeah. So the way the planners have designed it for us, this 3-year project would be the pilot. In year 2, we start thinking about how to diverse the funding.
Okay.
That could include city bonding, or part of our taxes. If they would, common council decided to allocate funding to keep it going, that's one potential funding source. Other grants, maybe sponsorships. So in Albany, CDPHP has a bike program that CDPHP, I think, is a health insurance company, right? They, I think, sponsor that bike system. Maybe there's another organization that would want to sponsor it. That in itself is a whole project. So that's why we were like, let's get it going. Let's try it out. In year 2, we'll start to explore these other funding options. And with the hope that in year 4, we have some other income streams to keep it going. Also, there is a vision of a phase 2 that if it's successful, and we have a rate of how we're defining success, and that is each bike gets ridden 0.3 times. So less than a full time every day. Let me see if I can describe that another way. So we have a data point for how often the bike should get used that's deemed successful.
Okay.
That is based on other bike shares systems that are of a similar size. So down in, I think it's Haverstraw, I forget the other municipalities. So like Westchester, there's a few municipalities that have a similar bike share. One of the partners that we're thinking of hiring to do our mobility runs that program. So we want their program here in Kingston. So all of their best practices, all of their learned things, we're hoping to implement here.
And you've been in touch with them, and they've been.
Yeah, so we've got two two partners, Tandem Mobility and Drop Mobility. We and the consultants, our planners have met with them. They're helping us, give us information for this grant application. If we got the grant, we would do a formal request for proposal process. So neither one is guaranteed that we'd have to go through a formal municipal process to acquire, to go into subcontract with them. So it's still up in the air, but I feel confident that there's at least two companies that are interested in doing a bike share in Kingston. To me, that feels really promising.
And I know you did a survey, and how did that go? Did people seem that they wanted that?
Yeah, I believe it was more than 50%. I want to say it was like 64% said that they were positive for a bike share. We also gave them other questions, which was, would you like an electric vehicle, a bike share, a bike library, or a rebate program? The vehicle actually was the winner in the surveys, but we decided to go with the bike share. That felt like a better match for this grant opportunity. Also, there's a bit of history there. The city used to have the bus system that got merged with the county bus system. So the city has managed a fleet before, and I think the municipality has decided that we don't want to do that. So it felt a little awkward to restart that program in some ways. But it was also mostly that this grant and this opportunity really matched the bike share. And the bike lending library and a rebate program, I and other staff members are still very interested in that, and we would look for other times to try that out.
Well, in Burlington, Vermont, where I used to live, they had leave your car at home. And it was more of a walking, but bikes now is probably what they do. I don't know if they still do it, and then the local businesses, you get points.
Cool.
And then you could use those points towards something at a business of your choice. It was great. It was really great. So well. I mean, it really did really well there. So that's something, that's a rebate thing yeah.
We'd love to try to do a program like that.
Yeah.
Do you expect it'll be people who live here or tourists?
I think both, no?
Great question. We tried to design it for both. So we tried to make it very approachable and we thought about about 15% of the city's population does not own a vehicle. So that was one of our demographics that we tried to target. They planned this program for. But in addition, tourism here in Kingston is one of our economic major channels of economic business
Revenue.
As you all know, the Rondon is particularly hard to get out of without, so that's why we really went heavy on the electric bikes. This is thought that people would want, tourists especially, would want to come up from the Rondon and explore. So I know it's not cheating to say both, but it's sort of true. We hope that it'll serve both demographics.
And what about, I don't know about these bike share programs. What about a helmet?
Yes. So along with the program is an education and safety component. My hope would be that we would subcontract with the YMCA bicycle program, that they would do group rides, helmet giveaways, and bike 101 courses.
But if you're renting a bike,
Yes.
do you rent it without a helmet and just
Right.
to you?
We don't have a way to rent the helmets with the bike. There are cool things in other places, and if this is popular, let's look into them, like a helmet vending machine or other things. But no, as of right now, but it is possible we might be able to give some helmets to like the Y, and the Y is able to distribute them or other places. But we would distribute some free in the community, but when you rent the bike, a helmet would not be available.
And I'm about to volunteer to do something. Now, maybe if I could get in touch with Christine and ask her about her home as a town, and then maybe write up a little bit about the program she's involved with. Would that be all right?
Yeah, I have to go back to my memory. I don't know, but I will. I could actually Google it and see if it still exists.
Okay, and I'll give you my email address. Oh, you don't have anything?
No, I do, but I just
See, Anita.
thank you.
So I heard you volunteer, Arlene. I love that.
Oh, I'll just write up a little,
Yes.
a couple of paragraphs about it and see if there's something that we want to pursue.
I love it. That's fine. Perfect.
You're reading the
When will you know,
that.
you received the grant yet? Or do you-
No, so we're applying
You're applying.
Thursday. I don't know when we ask for results, find out, they say. Never, so I don't know. And like the time, yeah, the timeline is really optimistic. They're like, oh, we'll get going in January. I was like, I've never seen a contract get done that quickly, so we'll see.
Do you know anything of this, the Gallo Park, like, it's DOS and org
Let's see.
operative? Do you know, I'm just curious for that's great, I think as well, with the need is and improvements in that area. I'm wondering, it's just like improvements around TL Gallo Park, around the gazebo and
Yeah.
making the ADA compliant. When I was reading the letter of support, do you know anything about whether that grant?
Yeah, I don't believe this grant has been, we've heard back about this grant yet. Sam mentioned the grants department just published a huge grants report. Every quarter, the grants department puts a big PDF on the city's website. That's a great way to follow. Feel free to also check. Anyone can always email me at any time and I can try to find out an answer like that for you. Yes, I believe that this is a lot of really great improvements to TR Gallo if we got this. Also, there is already maybe a grant to upgrade the electric at TR Gallo. I think that's another grant that's already in process. After Hurricane Sandy, that whole area was flooded and a lot of damage happened. And so that's a grant from like many years ago that's just getting implemented now. So when we see this, like when we apply for a letter of support here, don't expect anything really for years. I'm sorry to be so blunt about it. It takes a really long time. Welcome, Anita. If you caught your breath, do you mind saying hi and introducing yourself?
Did you get a chance to get my email explaining I'll be ready?
I did not. I've been at a conference all day.
Okay.
Yeah. No problem. You're
That's
welcome.
okay. Maybe I blocked it, so then I tried to, I was at a residency retreat that they rescheduled for today, so I tried to come to both. Anyway, so sorry. I need a softness and, what am I saying?
You're commissioner for the one.
Yes,
That's it. Thank you.
For what?
I just.
Commissioner
For
Oh,
Just for-
okay.
for this.
I'm not gonna have us go through a whole nother round of introductions.
Okay.
We've got a lot of lovely people here today. That's great. So we were just going through the letters of support. Any other questions about any of that? Hearing none, I'll keep us moving, but we can always come back. So as I mentioned, let me share the screen. So as I mentioned, Katrina Light stepped down as chair. Katrina Williams already offered to step up to be chair until the end of the year. So just very happy that Katrina got a new job. I'm disappointed to see her go. And she served to live well. It'll be fun. As I mentioned, we've had 3 commissioner applications and we'll go into executive session at the end. If there's no other questions bubbling up at this time, I'll bring us into our strategic reflection, but just give you a moment to see if anybody has questions. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Jumping through a lot of stuff today. Let me share this. So, we've been working on a strategic reflection for Live Well, mostly this full year. And we're coming to sort of a culmination, maybe a decision point here. What I thought we would do is I'm going to present to you this is sort of like a draft of our mission. You'll see later in my slides, I've got the Live Well Kingston's mission and vision, but I thought I'd go through the focus teams content first, because you'll see the way we've sort of built the mission and vision is that they all take little pieces of the different focus teams and add it together to be one. So if you don't, I know it feels a little bit like we're jumping in, but that's what I'm gonna try that out tonight. So we're gonna jump right into Grow Well. For anyone who's not super familiar with Grow Well supports our community gardens. It's our youngest focus team, started during COVID. And what I'm proposing tonight is that its new mission would be that Grow Well improves access to community gardens. What's not written there is in the city of Kingston, but because so everything that we're talking about is in the city of Kingston. And then I have an example of a potential, my hope is that we do this mission and vision work. And then for 2026, we start to have very clear goals and measurables for the next coming year. And so I have an example of how I thought one of the goals could be for 2026. And I'm trying out SMARTY goals. So some of you may have heard of SMART goals. That's usually specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. That's pretty standard. What we're adding is inclusive and equitable. So it's a way of grounding the equity into every goal that we do. Instead of it, sometimes we put it on the side as a separate goal. So I've tried to craft it. My example for Grow Well of that is my hope would be that we would improve 6 gardens with a small welcoming project by the end of 2026. And the measurement would be the number of garden improvements. Anybody want an example of what that could be? Would that help? Here, I'll just keep filling.
Flowers or vegetables?
Doesn't matter.
And that's a public land?
So maybe I'll tell more about the gardens we have got. So we have, how many gardens do we have?
Not enough.
8?
Not enough.
No, great answer. I want to say it's around 8. A few of them are on city property, some are not. Each one is different and it is running a different way. So Rondout Garden, which is at Kingston Housing Authority off of the Green Line, that is on city property. There's a garden steward there. That's a very kind of a typical community garden. Different people have different plots. The Barman Park, Barman is on Green Hill. It's where there's a ball field. There's a little tiny garden there next to the Metro building. That is a collective community garden. There's 1 tomato bed, 1 cucumber bed, 1 lettuce bed, and all of the neighbors help grow it together and they all pick it together. Then we include in our garden list the garden that's at George Washington Elementary. So that's not city property, that's school property. Cindy is the garden steward there, and she's been stewarding that garden for a long time and partnering with the school. There's a garden at South Pine Street, which is on Binnawater, the water company's land. So it's on private property, and it's run by Trish and Joel, and they grow that food and give it away by donation. So different model. I don't believe they might have 1 or 2 community members that also have a bed there, but they sort of run it like a farm that way. So that's an example of some of our gardens. So my idea of what a welcoming project could be is it could be multilingual signage. So some gardens have signs, some don't, some wearing the native thing that's stuck up. So maybe we make a sign for each garden in 2026. That's an example of what a welcoming project could be. Okay. So what there? Any questions about gardens, about Grow Well, about mission, about measurement? Anthony, you got any questions? You got a question for me? Anything coming up yet? Okay.
Oh, just a basic question are these goals generated from like conversations with each of the focus groups, or are these ones that you're just kind of proposing to like encapsulate the focus for 2026 of each focus group?
Great question. No, unfortunately, these came out of my brain.
Fine.
So yes, I should also add, I think the next steps could be after we make some decisions or go through this tonight, we now bring this to the focus teams.
Okay.
So our hope here is at the Live Well Kingston at the commission level, we do some strategic and maybe make some suggestions. Now we bring it to the folks and be like, hey, Grow Well, do you think your mission is to improve access to community gardens? I think they'll say yes. But then the deeper conversation is what would you like to do in 2026? But I would love to get their feedback on where they'd like to go. But maybe differently than in other years, I want to guide them a little bit to be a SMARTY goal, and I want it to end by 2026. In years past, I felt like we just threw whatever, like spaghetti on the wall and just saw what's stuck. I want it to be more measurable. I want it to be, I want to see something happen by the end of 2026. Questions? Okay. All right, I'm gonna keep going through. This is Playwell. I believe that the Playwell's mission is to improve access to parks, public spaces, and nature in the city of Kingston. And as an example, a SMART goal for Playwell could be improve access to a park or nature space in a location that doesn't currently have access within a 10-minute walk by the end of 2026. Maybe I should explain that a little bit more. There's a website, 10-minute walk score, I believe. It maps out, I'm not sure if that's the exact URL, Sam, don't quote me on that, but it's like that. I'll find it for you. It's got a map of Kingston. It shows where all the parks are, and it shows the space around them of what is 10 minutes walk to a green space. And there are patches of the city of Kingston where there is not a park within 10 minutes. I think that's where we should prioritize green space.
You mean where there are homes? Is that what you mean?
So in the city of Kingston, right, where the people are living,
Yes.
and they cannot get to a park within a 10-minute walk.
Okay.
So how would you fix that? Like are the parks not close enough or are they there, but there's not a place for them to walk to get to?
And I do believe that's why I said improve and not build.
Yeah.
I don't know that we're gonna be able to build a park.
Yeah.
We just built one and it took a lot of work.
Yeah.
But there might be things that we can do to improve access. So maybe we can come up with signage, maybe we can start conversations with community members about what they might like to see in their area. Maybe we can do an analysis of where, like I said, like where the parks are and start that process a little bit. So you're right, that, even though that's my SMART goal, it's gonna be harder work to do.
Yeah, your last SMART goal was so specific,
It was.
achievable. This
I know.
one seems
It's just a
very
little
aspirational.
I know, well, I got ambitious.
Yeah.
Tell them to walk faster.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a question?
No, it's interesting to be focused. Yeah, because you're by putting together this goal, you're intentionally focused on controls that
Yes.
to.
Yes.
The assumption is that those are positive access.
Yes.
So you got, so there's, and it's also, I guess, walking, is this, the assumption also is that walk, the distance is a major chance. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I believe that the study showed, like, if you have a park within a town, you're more likely to, I think that's.
Now, how about, okay, so Playwell, so parks, children, like Cornell Park, TR Gallo. There's really, children can run around, but there's no like swing sets or anything, right? Or would that be part of anything or?
Yeah, so, so there's a Parks and Rec department.
Mhm.
They have a commission, that's the Rec Commission. They maintain the parks. We can make recommendations to them. We can't tell them what to do.
Mhm.
But that said, for example, I was the project manager for building post office park. So we can build things and get their support. So the question sort of is like, it's a messy yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of this is coalition building, a lot of it is working with partners and so if we sort of did a park assessment, we said, okay, well, we can't build a new park within 10 minutes, but we really see that there's a park here that is underserved. We can help identify how that park can be improved for access.
Mhm.
And then we would make that recommendation to the Parks Department.
No.
Okay, so ambitious goal, maybe we want to come back to.
And do you have, would you know if the Parks Department already is trying to work on this? Do you think this might be one of their missions?
Yeah. I'm going through this one. So the department is called Parks and Recreation. They manage the parks. They also run all the camp programs. They do all these recreational programs. I'm in the same building as them and they're wonderful people. I find they are very day to day. They are very much just trying to keep their heads above water, maintaining the parks and doing the recreation. I find that Live Well and my department has more of the capacity to do some of that long-term planning. And so we can support them in that way, and they welcome it.
Okay.
Does that answer your
Yes.
question?
Yes.
I think the Parks and Recreation Department. Didn't they do a study that looked at like they did like an inventory of the parks and some of the challenges and opportunities? Maybe that's part of the strategy. Strategy. I remember looking at that because to your point around the it's one opportunity.
Yes, it's not really access to ADA, like there's, it's
The shape was like
your playground, okay.
I just remember there was a so anyway, just a thought that maybe look at maybe like opportunities to achieve this goal.
Yes,
That the Parks and Recreation, I think, has already looked at
and I think
priorities of it.
Was that the document that was like really, really old? Like 2013 or something like that?
There's-
I thought it was part of the Kingston strategy, like the city strategy.
there was a Parks Master Plan. Maybe that's what you're thinking.
Maybe.
That's an older document. I think, let me also add, in Playwell, there's a newer project called Nature Everywhere Kingston that just did an analysis about access to nature in Kingston. In their goals, they identified doing a park analysis. Where are the natural spaces? Where are the natural spaces? So Playwell sort of already identified that they'd like to do some, I'm gonna call it a landscape analysis, but that feels a little bit close to a pun. We would sort of collect some of the data that we already, let's review some of the data we already have. So maybe to Kyle's point, reminding ourselves what documents, what planning has already been done and doing a bit of review of what's already there and what's planned.
Is that all on the city's site? Like, is that the centralized place to find various like outcomes of consulting projects, things like that?
Great question. So I won't bring it up now but Engage Kingston.
Okay,
.com
awesome.
is the best place to find planning documents or planning projects. That website started maybe 5 years ago. So there's many projects before that that are not on that website. Okay, so the joke that I always say is the Kingston-ny.gov website is so bad, we bought a second website. The second website is this Engage Kingston. So it's sort of where all of our projects are.
Cool.
On the old website, a lot of those old projects are there. They're really hard to find.
Okay.
You have to dig for them, but they are there. There's planning documents. There's lots of old stuff. But the Engage Kingston is where you go for anything that's really been done in the last 5 years or so.
Thank you.
Okay, travel well. Okay, big side. I do a big side for travel well because it's both the one that is nearest and dearest to my heart, and also the one that is the least active. Well, that's not true, but so travel well currently isn't meeting as a group. For the most part, for travel well has been the work that I've been doing, like I just all told you about the bike share plan. So it is definitely moving towards a goal of a more walkable, bikeable city, but it's been less of a coalition. That's open to discussion if we should move in that direction. But
Yes, Sam and I are in.
love it. And it might be sort of a new time for a new chapter for travel well. And that might start with a new mission. So the new mission that I'm proposing is that travel well improves access to safe, active transportation systems. And now Arlene and I had talked about what is an active transportation system, or what is active transportation?
What did we decide?
Well, to me, yeah, I know. To me, active transportation means anything that's not vehicular. So it is walking, biking, scootering, wheelchairing. It is active movement. Well, I mean, electric bikes, I consider active transportation because you are still moving, and even though you're getting assistance.
Yeah.
And it's mostly in transportation to me means it's not necessarily for recreation. It's for everyday destinations, shopping, work.
So where would it, so again, bringing up Burlington, they used to have a trolley that would go on their spine, which would be College Street all the way down. from the top of the hill where the college was all the way down to the Lake Champlain. And you go up and down, and people could shop, drink, do their thing, whatever they want to do, get on the trolley, leave their car at home, and use one.
Sounds
They do
fabulous.
not do that anymore. Unfortunately. I don't know why they stopped it, but they did.
Yeah.
Trolley would not fall under travel.
Right.
It
would not.
Because that would be,
Yeah.
I think that would be an amazing thing, not the buses, but a trolley. Yeah, be just to pick up people at any stop. And this way, the Rondout, Midtown, and Uptown could all benefit from shoppers and people and residents that want to shop in all the areas and do their food shopping, whatever, they don't have a car.
And as much as public transportation, buses, trolleys are social determinants of health, they have absolutely access to all of the things we just said, jobs, employment, food.
Yeah.
As Arlene was saying, there are some other groups working on that. So Complete Streets Advisory Council does do some work about public transportation.
Okay.
Our bus system is at the county level. And so the county has.
It's
also
free, which is,
Yeah. And so I don't know if anybody's aware, there's a controversy happening right now around our bus system here. And so thankfully to me, that's not in our world, that's at the county level. And so, but a role for Live Well, and that could be a letter of support or a letter of education to the county, making recommendations of what you'd like to see. So even though Trauma Well to me does not include the bus system, my answer is we have a lot of work to do in active transportation, and we can support that other work in other groups. Does that make sense? No, struggling.
yes.
What's the controversy?
What you think?
It's the-
Quick recap of controversy. So they moved the bus, what used to be a hub, from Hannaford
Oh, thanks.
to the other county property.
Yeah.
The same time, there's a planning process called the route optimization plan that is not finalized. So there's actually sort of two different things happening that are being conflated into one. And mostly it's the change of the hub that everybody talks about. It's a private property, the county didn't really have an option to keep it there. It's complex.
And now the hub is at the Ulster County, the town office.
It's the county buildings, they're just over the city border. So it's where DSS, Office for the Aging, Veterans Affairs.
So that's probably not as.
Right, and it's technically outside of the city of Kingston, and it's not very bikeable at all.
Yeah.
There's sidewalks, but it's not even that great for walking.
Yeah.
So that's really, there's a lot of disappointment. I don't think anyone is happy. No one would, everyone is disappointed. Age, well.
I think it would be really good for us as a commission to support that bus situation. I've already done it individually, but I think, as you suggested, that would be a good idea.
What is your view on it?
I think it's problematic, the move of the bus hub, and that there are potentially other options that would be better. And the goal, in my opinion, would be to expand the bus route so that other people, so it would expand the bus population. Like, I would like to be able to take a bus. I just took a bus from Grand Central to my friend's house. Like, I'd like to do that instead of jumping into my car to go shopping or do something. And I think that this whole thing, Kingston would be great to be a city that has a better bus situation so that we could travel from uptown to downtown or wherever. I don't know if that makes sense.
I'm just wondering about the timing and I don't know too much about it, but I am aware, as Emily mentioned, that the optimization plan or whatever is not yet concluded. So I don't know if we missed the boat in terms of public weighing in or I don't know, maybe the timing is right if they're still trying to figure out what the best plan is for all of that.
Well, last month, I was at the Democratic Committee meeting and they asked me to write a letter. He said that if more people would weigh in, it would be better. So.
It's good to know.
And the people that drive the bus, they're getting paid from the county, not city. And the fact that it's free, I guess that, yeah, okay, so. Yeah,
So this commission is, you can write a letter. Jillian, if you wanted to draft something, maybe you could share it with the rest of the commission, then we can.
Sure, I can email maybe what I started and we can expand on it.
Yeah.
Sounds like there's already. Some
I
website.
think that's the same we say.
There's already like well, I guess these changes have already come into effect like 2 days ago, and there's a fair amount of things online. Like there's an FAQ page, and they tried to address a lot of questions. So I don't know what the leverage point is for a commission like us, given that it's already been executed on. And yeah, I'm just curious, what are your thoughts?
Well, there's two things. The hub being moved, that has happened. I think what I'm showing you now is the route optimization plan. I believe this is still in draft form. This, I believe, is a place where you can make recommendations still. You could still make recommendations on the hub too. So I can't vote on that, but I don't really know that the county can do anything different about the hub. I think that they would have done something different if they could.
Yeah.
That's my gut feeling, is that there really would, if there was a better option, they would have taken it. That said, the value of public transportation can always be asked for, and probably should be at all, in a lot more. So there's, it's both, you guys can do that, and it's really complicated. But I'll just add one more thing. Public transport, talking about trolley, public transportation is, it's all relative, but it's very expensive. And in our bigger community, in our nation, I feel that we have not prioritized public transportation, like funded it. And the funding sources really need to come from a higher level. Like the city of Kingston cannot afford a bus system. We don't have the tax base for it, but the federal government would allocate funds for that. So unfortunately. Yep. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Exactly. So there's a lot there.
The sign was enough. The sign was enough.
The sign was there.
But it's just a very, I feel like it's one of those issues that affects so many people, but I feel like it's going to be hard to embarrass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, just looking at the website, they do say this is a transitional solution as you can identify as a permanent solution.
Oh,
As
that's all.
part of the route optimization plan.
Yeah.
Currently underway. So I think just to confirm what you already said, it sounds like the route optimization plan, there's still a lot of room to influence that, and that would have a direct impact on this change around the hub. So there's still a lot of opportunity first.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, so as you can see, travel well, there's a lot there. And so travel well improves access to safe, active transportation systems. I was proposing, also a lot of the work that I have historically done is supporting the Green Line network of rail trails and complete streets in the city of Kingston. So my thought for a SMARTY goal could be improve access to the Green Line system by the end of 2026. Again, it's like I went simple, complicated, and I went simple again. And my thought would be that the measurement would be the number of improvements. So an improvement could be, again, signage feels very tangible to me at this moment. I feel like we don't have enough signage.
What's Green Line
What is the Green Line?
system? Yeah.
So the Green Line system is a network of rail trails and complete streets. Thank you for asking, Randy. I'm gonna try to see if I can bring it up on the screen.
My glasses. Oh, yeah, you gave me one of these.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
All right.
So you say your goal is an improvement to the Green Line system. Are you talking about signage?
That was we have a Green Line wayfinding plan that we just don't have the funds to implement. So if anyone's not familiar, the Empire State Trail, which is like a highway for walking and biking, comes through the city of Kingston. That's the dotted line here. So I see bike packers, so people that are doing long distance bike trips coming through our town and getting lost. And I see them get lost and I say, I know which way you need to go, but they're not asking for help. You know what I mean? So I think we need signage, not just for them, also for all our users. Are we just your hand up for a question?
No,
I'm thinking. Yeah. So here's our green line system of complete streets and rail trails. The dark green is off-road trail. The lightest green is a shared road. So for example, Foxhall, Cornell Street are part of our green line system because it connects. I like to think of it sort of as we do like our vehicle transportation system. In some ways, the green line is supposed to be like our highway. It's like our major connection. And then if you live on these other roads, they should all feed into it. But like if you needed to get across town, the idea is that you would take this biking highway to get.
So what I'd like to understand is what is your goal about improving it? It's because improving it means structure, doesn't it?
Improvement, I think, could be a wide range of things. Signage feels like a very tangible thing that I can use right now. So,
Even that requires money.
everything requires.
That's
So signage could be something we could identify, a small improvement that we wanted to make someplace. What's another another improvement, I think, to the green line, honestly, is, updating this map or creating brochures, or distributing the awareness of the green line. So, I could use help getting the word out. Like that to me would be an improvement. Yeah, even though it's a little bit less tangible.
Because at each, at like different points on the green line, there's a area with glass, which is supposed to be where you'd have a map and you can say like you are here, but right now it doesn't exist, right?
Well,
Or there's no signs along the way either. And I guess that was all part of there was a study that was already completed that included exactly like what recommendations related to the wayfinding and signage, but that needs funding.
yeah, and so on Engage Kingston, you can see that we have the green line wayfinding plan, right? So, we're talking about a lot of things, and there's a lot going on. We had a company design all the signage for the green line. They did a little plan, pilot project of where, so it's so complicated, these projects. The next step is to be, where does each sign go? So there's a little bit more work that needs to be done. But what we could do is like install one sign, show proof of concept. At one of the trailheads, install one sign, and that's a win in my world. I feel like that would be fantastic. So that is sort of a tangible improvement that we do. There's this bigger system. If we ever get grant money, I would ideally do the entire system at once because then it'll be cohesive. It's probably not going to happen. So maybe we could do one.
It couldn't just be as easy as just printing out like large maps and showing where you are, because there's already those areas that have glass that are meant to be like,
Message board.
Message
We have
boards.
four message boards. They're only on one section of the green line. So if there's one thing about the green line that I want you all to learn today, is that it's not just one segment. I think many people think the Midtown Linear Park is the green line. Other people think that the Hutton Brickyard is the green line. The green line is the network, it's the system. And so, Kyle, what I think you're thinking of is along this section, which goes from roughly Rondell, down to, it's almost to the waterfront. There's four message boards. It was part of our Creating Healthy Schools and Communities grant that we got this.
Okay.
Yeah.
But those don't have anything in them really right now, as far as I remember.
I think I've got these up in there, but they've probably gotten faded.
Yeah.
And they're probably outdated. Yeah. So there's a lot of work to be done.
And color coding too could be, when you do trails and it goes, if you want to go to high, you do red or yellow, maybe there's something, color coding system too.
Okay, thank you all. Let's see tabs. All right, let me go back to screen. Thank you everyone for your wonderful questions. We're really getting into a lot today. Okay, so that's a potential SMARTY goal for travel law. Age well. As Katrina Light has pointed out to us, Age Well is the only focus team that or subcommittee that is for a specific demographic, a little bit different than our other ones. The other ones are a little bit more about work buckets, and this one is about a demographic. So potential new mission is Age Well improves seniors' access to healthy, basically it's access to all of the things that we just said. I don't know if we've done Eat Well yet, but Age Well improves seniors' access to healthy and nourishing food, safe, active transportation systems, welcoming public spaces, and community connection. An example of the SMARTY goal for Age Well could be improve access to a senior-focused food, transportation, or program by the end of 2026. Number, and the measurement could be number of improved programs or systems. So that's very broad. I can try to explain that further. A little history on Age Well. There's some other groups that are doing similar work. We've had some discussions about is Age Well, should we continue it? I think that's still a question that's up in the air. In 2025, Age Well decided to do one specific project, and that was recruit volunteers for the Office for the Aging's Neighbor to Neighbor program. This is volunteers that drive other seniors around. And so they've been doing that this year. Nettie, who was not here today, who's one of our commissioners, she's basically been running that project. She's been tabling at all the senior events and recruiting volunteers. And that felt like a very tangible thing that Age Well could do. And well, I think the question mark about Age Well continuing as a focus team is still open for discussion. Questions about, am I explaining that well? Questions about that?
How's the neighbor's neighbor program?
We've heard that a few new volunteers have happened. All of these things feel precarious to me. So at the Office for the Aging, that program is subcontracted to the Jewish Family Services. And the person that was running the program was like an intern who was leaving. The last time I talked to them about it, they weren't sure about the sustainability of the program. So I hope that that is continuing. I hope that they've got some new volunteers in. Nettie has absolutely the measurement that we can do for 2025 is that Nettie has tabled at a lot of events. And Anthony, you tabled too, didn't you? Table for neighbor to neighbor?
I did one.
And you did one. Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Orlin. Yes.
What's the year for a senior? What's the year?
65.
Yeah, and I found very little interest.
You had very little bites. That's
Yeah, very little interest. Mostly they wanted the service, but not to volunteer.
Because, it's just like a catch-22, because seniors won't be able to access these other programs without transportation. And I know personally, well, not personally, but professionally, it's frustrating for me because my seniors can't get to their appointments. And so I give them the number for neighbor to neighbor, and they just say to me, can't get it, doesn't work. I mean, this is, but it's really, this is, I know there's other people working on it. I'm not sure what to do, but I still think it's a really big barrier for seniors.
Yeah,
because you get to fix these other things, but if they can't get to these other sites, it's like, yeah.
I agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah. I don't have solutions. Just
this can be a place where we can brainstorm solutions. I don't know what those are, but that could be a role for Age Well, is trying to brainstorm those solutions. Eat Well. Eat Well, we're proposing the mission is Eat Well improves physical, social, and economic access to healthy, nourishing foods. An example of a SMARTY goal is strengthen the local food system by solidifying the network of stakeholders and hosting 4 engagement programs. So Eat Well is probably our most active focus team. My colleague Kristen facilitates that team along with Nanette, who is the chair, who works for Cornell Cooperative Extension. They have, it's mostly the meetings are on Zoom. They have a great community of people who are involved in the food system in different ways that come to that meeting. There's some dynamic work happening in there. And Kristen's not able to join us today because she's at that conference, but Kristen can talk in depth about all of the great work that's happening at Eat Well. So I'll wait for a time when she's here to explain it in a more elegant way than I can.
So like People's Place,
Yes.
they do their community farmers markets, they do, that's something that, how does that like correlate with
Great question.
this?
Yeah. So Shahara from People's Place joins Eat Well. So she's part of the coalition building that we do. So Eat Well, they brings together a lot of different food service partners. So that there can be alignment in goals, there can be shared best practices. We find in Eat Well, for the most part, the participants really like the networking. That really seems to be the benefit to them. It's a little bit like pulling teeth to get any action, like to do a project together, to work on policy change. Kristen's trying real hard. She's really working it. But for the most part, I think people just sort of want to come to, Kristen has arranged some really great presentations in that group. So there's some education happening. And so it's more like that kind of a group. Yeah. Okay. New is maybe a new focus team. So as of right now, communications is sort of something that Kristen and I do. And the goal here is to maybe make communications more of a focus of this commission, because I think one of the roles that Live Well plays is getting the word out about all the great work that we're doing and our partners are doing. And we hear often from the community that they don't know if things happening or where their services are. We're not going to be able to solve all of that, but I do think that communication is a key aspect of Live Well, and maybe it needs to be a committee or at least a chair of communications that we'll talk about in a minute more. But so communications, the potential mission would be, I guess there is an action there, but create communications to increase access to information about healthy opportunities. And the SMARTY goal could be conduct 4 communication campaigns by the end of 2026. In July, we didn't have a commission meeting, but we met and talked about all of our communications, and I've got that report if anybody wants to see it. I think the headline there might be, I think I remember Katrina Williams saying, you guys are doing a lot more communications than I thought. And so we have some examples of what right now, Kristen does some really great communications, but for Live Well, I'd say every once in a while I put up a post on social media. It's not a cohesive strategy. So my goal would be that next year we did 4 sort of strategic campaigns. One might be have the community know that we have new mission and vision statements.
Press releases, I mean.
No, we could be a press release, but we have a couple of channels of communication. So we have social media. Live Well has a web page, a Facebook. We have an Instagram. We have a newsletter that we send out maybe every other month, every 3 months or so. And then sometimes for events or one-offs, we put information in the mayor's newsletter, for example. So those are our usual channels of communication.
I answered this question on the questionnaire.
Yeah.
Like meetings, maybe, I think I put like have public meetings at the parks.
Thank you.
Some childcare issues.
So,
So, yeah, sorry about that.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
I'm sorry. Go on.
Oh, that's okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Like having public meetings at the parks or something to discuss.
Yeah.
I think that's what I wrote down as an
Yeah.
example, like, because people always have social media, go out for
Yeah.
getting away from that or whatever.
Yeah, the mayor had his meeting at Hutton Park
Oh, okay.
on, it was Wednesday.
Oh, okay, yeah, so something like that.
It was nice, it was very nice.
Yeah, like just getting out there and
Yeah,
fresh
for sure.
air and, talking amongst ourselves so we can see people's faces and.
Yeah, I think you could probably incorporate that more. Okay, so any questions about that before I still got some more things to share with you. Let's come back. Okay, so you sort of got an idea of all the different subcommittees, focus teams. The top one is this is what's on the website right now. Live Well Kingston envisions a community environment that promotes and supports healthier lifestyle choices. We're proposing a new vision. Live Well Kingston envisions a city where local and nourishing foods, safe, active transportation systems, welcoming public spaces, and community connection are easily accessible. And you'll see I've tried to color code it to each focus team. So you really try to see that it's this idea of the focus teams really kind of informing what Live Well is. Also, I feel kind of strongly about taking choice out of it. Choice to me suggests that
Blame the victim.
it's exactly. And I really think that a lot of the health is more about system change. It's about I don't know that it's necessarily that people need to decide their way to be healthier. It's more like getting access to the things that will make them healthier. So that's part of why I think we should take choice out of it. So this is the new vision. Any questions?
Yeah, so I guess similar observation. I think that, first of all, awesome job. That this is clearly very thoughtful down to the color coordination. But that point around access, I think was interesting for that to be the focus. And if you were to think about that, kind of the next thing about access would be maybe engagement, right? Like, how do we actually get, number of participants in X program, or, that. So I'm wondering, like, that thought between, like, bridging the gap between access versus actual engagement with the community. I think you've done it really well in a lot of these goals. It probably depends on, like, the maturity of a given commission, right? Like, some of these are around Greenlight, right? It's just number of people using Greenlight. To me, that's about engagement. That's a very outcome oriented metric. Some other things might be just around, just awareness. So I'm wondering how you're thinking about maybe just access versus actual engagement and adoption of, the various commissions and the work and the output of the organization.
Let me see if I'm understanding. Yeah, for the most part, I've thought about the sort of back to choice, the idea of are easily accessible. That to me is sort of like just a buffet table.
Sure.
You can get to it. And then what I'm hearing you is like even being a little bit.
How do you maybe bridge that gap, or do you feel like LiveWell's in that position to bridge that gap to our key metric isn't how many buffet options did we put out, but how many times did we have to replenish the buffet, or how many mouths did we feed, if you will.
You give me, so are you suggesting an edit change?
No, not necessarily. I'm just wondering, like, is that the goal, is to present the buffet or actually have people eat from the buffet?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
We could offer all the things, but if they don't take it, are we being successful? It's a great.
But definitely doesn't have to be solved here, but maybe as we're thinking through.
It also could be like stepwise, like we're gonna focus on making these foods and spaces accessible this year, and then next year we can measure with increasing access, increased usage, like what you said.
Yes.
You can make it there, but will people still go?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And if not, then maybe there are other barriers, right, that we're not
Right.
anticipating. But I do think the first, like, I love this parks thing where, at least we can try to figure out how to make parks accessible to more of the population.
Mhm.
And then they still may not use them, but that's like.
It's the first step of the kind of maturity. I think you're absolutely right.
So let's go to something that is around some places, but community free refrigerators.
Yes.
Who's in charge? Who does that? Who's in charge of those?
So each community fridge is run a little bit different. It's a little bit like our community gardens. So the example I always look to is the Clinton Avenue Methodist fridge is the most successful. That the community members of that church and some other community members help run that.
Okay.
So each one's a little different. Is that sort of answering your question?
Okay, yes, they're all like separate entities and okay.
Things here at Kingston are very organic. People love to start new projects. Sometimes they go talk to other people that are doing similar projects. It's very human to me.
Okay.
So that happens in a lot of places. To go back to your point, I think maybe the way I'm looking at this work right now is I'm just trying to put up the buffet.
Yeah.
And maybe you can help us bring us back to how do we take it up to the next step? And maybe I'm a little limited because I'm just trying to, trying to open up the door.
Yeah, and let's start somewhere. This is literally, I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah.
Collectively, just something to think about.
Yeah.
I
like
really
to-
appreciate the transition from choice to access.
Yes,
Does
feels like the next step.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think engagement across, the 6 different things, rather than accessibility across all the different things, seem to be harder for some things for engagement to be the focus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool, all right. Any other thoughts on that? We can always come back. Okay, so that was the vision. That's what we want to see happen. The mission is how we get there. So the old mission was Live Well Kingston brings partners and residents together to facilitate policy, environment, and systems change. I know that's a lot. I can explain what that means. Like changes that result in a healthy and active community. And what we've sort of workshopped a few times now is Live Well Kingston brings partners and residents together as focus teams to facilitate programming, communications, policy, environmental, and systems changes that increase access to healthy opportunities. Okay, so there's a lot there. Anything you guys want me to dive into to explain? I can keep.
I think it's well said.
Okay, cool. So I'll mention, so
this is months of work, I know.
yeah.
Mhm.
So a few things I'll draw your attention to. So we're adding focus teams. So we're trying to, so in the past, some of you may not know, the commission met and maybe had very little interaction with the focus teams. So this is an attempt to bring where the work is actually happening up to a higher level. So that's how we do it, is with the focus teams. We've added programming because the original grant, the original project was policy, environmental, and systems change. So policy, complete streets policies, guidance documents, environmental, building a sidewalk, building a park, systems change. How do people share information back and forth? Could be a systems change. So that was what our mission was. But in fact, we were doing programming. We were doing some programming. And there's been a real push sort of in the not-for-profit world. I don't know if that's right, but bucket of people, but to do less programming because it's not as long-term effects. It's been a real push to do policy, environment, system change. But the thing is to get people to come to a meeting, sometimes I gotta do programming. There has to be something that's
Example of program.
Let's see. Kristen has been doing cooking workshops at the Midtown Neighborhood Center and at our park. And so to me, that's program. Yes, that's right. She's talking to you about it. Yeah. So I would say that cooking workshops isn't policy, environment, or systems change. The setting up of the cooking workshop could be a systems change. But having it become sustainable in the Parks and Rec department, that would be a systems change. But the actual running of the workshop, to me, is programming. Is that fair at all?
Yes, it does. I find it still a little, I think there's a lot.
Word
It's a little
salad.
confusing. Yeah.
It's a little versatility.
Yeah.
I know. And then we've added communications. I think part of what we should do is communications. Yeah, so it to Anita's point, it's a lot. There's a lot there.
Questions, feedback. Once.
I like it.
I like it.
Cool. Obvious. Okay. All right. So I think I got to explain this to Sam, but this slide is not going to just explain it well. So I'll try to explain it in a better way.
Point of privilege, I have to go.
Thank you for coming.
Will we sign a form for the?
We won't, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. Okay, that's fine. So, okay. As I mentioned, Liv Wilkinson, the commission sometimes didn't have a connection with the focus groups. What in past conversations we've sort this road that we're going down is this idea that each commissioner, each person that is becomes has a seat on the commission, has a connection to one of these buckets of work and sort of represents it and connects us back to them. So for example, if Anthony became the Grow Well chair, he would meet with Grow Well, and when we met, maybe give us an update on Grow Well, tell us what they're thinking about. If the commission said, hey, we really would love it if the commission to think about this in equity, principals, Anthony would bring it back to the well and suggest it to them. So it would be this direct link with Google. That feels like a clear example. In addition to that, well, so those are the focus teams. In addition to that, we would still have our chair, vice chair, secretary. Those are pretty typical for boards. I can explain those at BB. And then we've got 3 new buckets of work that I'm suggesting. Assessment. So Anita has taken us through because it's the regional health assessment. And we looked at the data of what's happening here in Kingston and in our region. Assessment could also be, so not just could be the data that's happening in our community. Assessment could also be helping us collect the data of the impact of what our projects are doing. So that's sort of what I call it. So
That was the one that's who contacted the assessment. I think it was assessment.
the assessor.
Assessor.
Okay.
That's what it was.
This wouldn't have anything to do with the assessor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just to be super clear.
Okay.
Yeah. So this would just be for Live Kingston work. Great. Engagement. So this to me would be the communications bucket. So the idea is that someone could work with me to plan out our communications or figure out, plan out how we're going to engage with the community in other ways. All of these, by the way, don't have to do all the work. They just might be a partner to help envision it. But they can do more work if they want. Okay, finally, development. To me, that's looking at sort of how Live Well Kingston can be sustainable through funding, through grants. Can help us envision how to make Live Well more financially sustainable. Okay. You'll notice Heal Well. We used to have a Heal Well focus team that is currently dormant. So we do too much of what happened, the bucket of work that. Questions about that?
Yeah, where do we go from here? I mean, you gave us a mission and you gave us a lot of, so in another meeting, we vote to
Adopt it.
is that what we're going?
Yeah, so that would be what I would suggest is that I was hoping we would, well, it'd be a lot to do tonight, but I was hoping we might do it tonight, but that's fine. So either we would vote, I think we should vote as a commission to go forward with this. Then I would bring, I've drafted a survey for our focus teams that says, here's what we think your new mission is. Do you agree? Here's some potential projects. Is this what you'd like to do? So I think the next step, so it's like, we all decide this is what we want. We bring it to the focus teams and see how they feel about it, is what I'm proposing. Okay, that's the end of this presentation. So any questions about any of it at this point? Otherwise, I think what I'll suggest is that at our next meeting, we'll vote on it, answer any questions that will come up in the next month. Okay, feels like that's what we're going towards. Next on our agenda is just some announcements and communications. Mine are fairly quick, but before I do my two, just a prompt to you all. Announcements and communications can be a mention of a project. It could be a mention if anybody knows of any job opportunities. It could be a mention of something that is in your world that you'd like to share with all of us. So there's your prompt. I'll start us off that Live Well Kingston hosted 2 events since the last time we met. That was the Grow Well Garden Tour last Saturday. We visited 6 gardens and we biked to them. Some people walked to them, and I feel that we had the most attendees. I feel like it was a really great success. I wanted to share that with you all. The second one was a tree tour at Post Office Park. The city's urban forester led it, and Playwell supported him in that project. He's doing other tree tours in other places. And that also went really well. We had our group come up from Newburgh that is also doing some tree work. So it was really exciting to see some youth from Newburgh come up and visit our city. It's really good. Oh, look, I already mentioned the second one. And this is where I was going to talk about the bike share grant, but we've already talked about it, so I don't have to say it now. So those are my announcement communications. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to share?
Well, I'd like to know how did your conference go today?
Oh, thank you for asking. Today was great.
You got any money?
Did you get me money? No, it's not that kind of conference. So the SHIST grant does physical activity and nutrition, which is very similar to the work that we do at Live Well. Today at the conference, we painted part of the rail trail with arrows that says bike shop and brewery. But if anyone's familiar, over by, there's a new brewery in town, Duck.
Did it open? Yeah.
I believe it opened, but it's not open today. Got to read it's Thursdays and Fridays and Saturdays. So we did a trail improvement project. So that was the highlight of my day. Tomorrow, I'll be leading them on a bike tour to see a lot of the infrastructure, transportation infrastructure improvements that we've done. So, thank you for asking.
What was the name of the conference? You said something like this.
Then the conference is for our grant program to creating healthy schools and communities grant project. So it's actually a convening. It's not a good conference. Is easier to convey what's happening. Is all the grantees are coming together. Anything anybody wants to share before we wrap up for today? No? Okay. All right. I think that's it for our agenda. We've lost all of our, or not all of our, because Marlene's still here. We've lost our commissioners. So what I'll just say to everyone at this time is, I think I'll have the commissioners vote via email over our applicants. So applicants, thank you so much for coming today. It might be a little bit of a delay before we know if you should get. So
Just because I missed the beginning, so I understand as an applicant, because it's the next end of that. Are you not?
Christine, yes.
Christina.
and Jillian, who's also online. So the three of them have applied.
And how many positions are available?
Today, two of you can sit on the commission right now, but also Katrina has stepped off, so that's a third. So there's 3 open seats right now. In addition, in January, Katrina Williams and Sarah Brainerd will be stepping off. They're 2 of them that are limit off. So we'll have, if you know anybody, there's room for more people. So
I might know some.
please.
And it's a 2-year commitment, is that right?
It is a 2-year commitment. I think you can stay on it for 2 or 3 terms. Yeah.
Okay. I might miss them.
Okay, cool. Great. Thank you, everyone. I feel like I was speaking a lot today. I hope that I answered all your questions. It was
I need to drink one, drop a border.
Thank you so much.